Did Meghan Markle really have a secret that no one suspected on the set of Suits? A charm so powerful it could shift the balance of an entire cast, stir tension behind closed doors, and leave everyone wondering who was truly in control. That's what Aaron Korsh, the creator of the iconic series, claims, and the details he revealed are nothing short of shocking. They paint a picture of a woman who, in many ways, mastered the art of influence, but perhaps at a cost that no one on set fully understood at the time. Imagine being part of a successful television show, a show loved by millions, and realizing that someone in your midst may not be entirely who they appeared to be. How would you react if the person everyone praised for their talent, charm, and charisma was quietly, subtly bending the dynamics of the set to her own advantage? Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Before the cameras rolled, before the red carpet interviews, Meghan Markle was an ambitious actress navigating Hollywood's unforgiving corridors. She had a resume that was steadily growing, but like many before her, she was looking for the big break, the one role that would propel her into the spotlight. That role, as fate would have it, was Rachel Zane in Suits. But the story that Aaron Korsh now tells goes far beyond the scripts and the episodes. It's about what happened behind the cameras, in hallways, green rooms, and private spaces, places where ambitions collided with emotions, charm became a weapon, and personal boundaries were tested in ways most of the cast never expected. From the beginning, Meghan had a presence that was impossible to ignore. Korsh describes it as magnetic, electric, and, at times, disarming. But there's a difference between presence and persuasion, between charm and manipulation. According to Korsh, Meghan's ability to draw people in was unlike anything the team had seen before. It wasn't just a matter of talent. It was how she used her personality, her wit, and yes, her allure to navigate relationships, both professional and personal, on set. Some fell under her influence, drawn in by her warmth and intelligence. Others sensed something more calculated, something that left them wary, unsure whether what they were experiencing was genuine or part of a larger strategy. The atmosphere on set was electric in other ways too. Suits was a hit series, and with that success came the pressures of maintaining ratings, pleasing networks, and keeping a talented ensemble cast happy. It was a delicate balance, and every interpersonal move mattered. In such an environment, the stakes are high, and every interaction carries weight. When you add a personality like Meghan's into the mix, someone who could command attention without saying a word, the dynamics of a set can shift in subtle but profound ways. Aaron Korsh's revelations suggest that these shifts were not accidental. They were observed, noted, and, at times, concerning to those who noticed them. What makes these revelations so captivating is the duality of Meghan's image. Publicly, she was polished, articulate, and charming, the kind of co-star anyone would want to work with. Behind the scenes, according to Korsh, her interactions with cast and crew sometimes blurred lines that should have remained clear. There are accounts of flirtations, moments of intimacy attempted or suggested, and a level of strategic charm that left some colleagues feeling manipulated, while others found themselves enamored, unaware of the underlying intentions. It's a delicate dance, and understanding it requires separating perception from reality, charisma from calculation, and influence from manipulation. But why should this matter to us now? Why revisit the behind-the-scenes world of a television series that ended years ago? The answer lies in the way history, behavior, and media perception intersect. Meghan Markle is no longer just a television actress. She has become a global figure whose public actions, relationships, and controversies are scrutinized by millions. Understanding her early interactions on Suits provides context, perhaps even a blueprint, for how she navigates attention, influence, and relationships today. It also forces us to confront questions about the nature of ambition, the ethics of personal influence, and how charisma can be both a gift and a weapon. Aaron Korsh's story isn't just about gossip. It's about revealing the dynamics that shaped a pivotal moment in television history. It's about showing how the ambitions of one individual can ripple across an entire production, changing interactions, alliances, and even the emotional tenor of a set. It's about looking behind the polished camera lens and seeing the human elements that are often hidden: desire, fear, strategy, and, Yes, seduction. As the creator recounts these moments, the tension is palpable. He describes specific instances where Meghan's charm crossed into territory that made colleagues uncomfortable. He recounts the subtle ways she navigated conversations, the small gestures that seemed innocent but carried an unmistakable weight. And then there are the moments when her intentions were crystal clear, a flirtatious remark, a personal question, an intimate suggestion that left cast members stunned, unsure how to respond. Some reacted with laughter, some with distance, and others with careful observation, realizing that the true story was unfolding right in front of them. It's not just the actions themselves that are shocking, it's the psychology behind them. What drives someone to wield charm in this way? Korsh suggests it's a combination of ambition, strategy, and perhaps a desire to test boundaries. The allure of power, whether social or professional, can lead even the most talented individuals to take calculated risks in relationships. On a set like Suits, with high stakes and a close-knit cast, these risks are magnified. One misstep, or one perfectly executed maneuver, can have consequences that echo long after the cameras stop rolling. For the audience, the intrigue isn't only about Meghan's behavior, it's about the human drama that unfolded around it. How do you protect yourself when someone wields charm so effectively? How do you separate genuine warmth from calculated influence? And what happens when ambition and seduction collide in a high-pressure environment like a hit television series? These are the questions that Korsh's revelations force us to confront. And then, just when you think you have the picture in your mind, Korsh drops the bombshell. There was one encounter, one incident, that changed the entire atmosphere on set. It involved a combination of charisma, subtle manipulation, and the kind of audacity that left colleagues questioning not just Meghan's behavior, but their own perceptions. Some laughed, some recoiled, and some simply stared, realizing that the carefully constructed image of their co-star did not fully align with the reality behind closed doors. This is where the story truly begins. Because while we have glimpses of charm, ambition, and tension, the full scope of what Aaron Korsh revealed is far more intricate, far more compelling, and far more revealing than anyone could have anticipated. There are names, there are interactions, there are moments of laughter, shock, and disbelief, all converging to paint a portrait of one of the most talked-about actresses of our time in a way that no media report has captured. And yet, even as these revelations unfold, one question remains. How much of what happened on set was a reflection of Meghan Markle herself, and how much was a reflection of the high-pressure, high-stakes environment in which she thrived? It's a question that lingers, unsettling and provocative, demanding an answer that only the full story can provide. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. The dynamics shifted, the alliances were tested, and the line between admiration and unease blurred completely. The set of Suits, once a space of camaraderie and professional collaboration, became a stage for subtle battles of influence, charm, and strategy. And in the middle of it all was Meghan Markle, at the center of attention, orchestrating interactions in a way that would leave an indelible mark on everyone who worked with her. The question isn't just what happened. It's what it reveals about ambition, human behavior, and the lengths some will go to achieve their goals. And as we dive deeper into the untold truth behind Suits, you're about to see a side of Meghan Markle that Hollywood never showed, the media barely touched, and the public could never have imagined. This is just the beginning. Have you ever wondered what drives someone to risk everything for ambition? To chase a dream so relentlessly that every interaction, every glance, every word becomes a calculated step toward a goal? For Meghan Markle, long before the cameras of Suits rolled, ambition was more than a desire, it was a strategy. Some call it determination. Others might call it obsession. And according to those who watched her rise, she had an uncanny ability to make everyone believe she was both earnest and magnetic at the same time. Meghan grew up in a world of contrasts. Born in Los Angeles, she navigated the spaces between privilege and perseverance, opportunity and struggle. Her early life was shaped by parents who encouraged independence, but also exposed her to the harsh realities of the entertainment world. She wasn't just another actress chasing Hollywood stardom. She was determined to stand out, to craft a persona that would make her unforgettable. And make no mistake, she did. Before Suits, Meghan's career trajectory was a mix of small television roles, auditions that went nowhere, and opportunities that almost slipped through her fingers. Anyone with a resume like hers might have felt frustrated, defeated even. But she approached each setback differently. She studied her competition. She observed casting directors, agents, and co-stars. She knew that talent alone wasn't enough. Charm, strategy, and the ability to influence perception were equally essential. And it's here, in these early years, that we begin to see the traits that Aaron Korsh would later describe on the Suits set. Imagine a young actress walking into a room full of industry veterans, knowing that every word, every smile, and every gesture could either help her or hurt her. Meghan understood that the game wasn't just about acting. It was about navigating relationships, creating alliances, and, if necessary, using her presence to tilt situations in her favor. Some colleagues from those days recall her as relentlessly focused, the kind of person who could quietly observe a room and then move in a way that left people impressed, enchanted, or both. But ambition, as we know, is rarely pure. It's complex. There are contradictions. There are moments where the drive to succeed collides with human emotions, social norms, and ethical boundaries. Meghan's early career shows this tension. She was determined to succeed, yet she also understood the power of perception. She knew how to appear authentic while carefully curating every detail of her image. She wanted to be liked. She wanted to be admired. And, as Korsh would later reveal, she also understood the subtle art of influence, how to make people trust her, gravitate toward her, and sometimes even bend to her will without realizing it. There's a story from one of her early auditions that illustrates this perfectly. Sources say she arrived late, dressed casually, with a confidence that bordered on defiance. Instead of panicking, she engaged everyone in the room with ease, jokes, charm, and a kind of warmth that immediately disarmed skepticism. By the end of the session, the casting directors were leaning in, eager to see her next move. It wasn't her acting that wowed them, it was her presence. She had learned early that perception could sometimes matter as much as performance. Some might call that savvy. Others might see it as strategic manipulation. But here's the crucial question. When does charm cross into calculation? When does ambition tip into something more deliberate? Aaron Korsh's later accounts suggest that on the set of Suits, Meghan's mastery of influence didn't stop at auditions. It became a tool, subtle yet powerful, shaping interactions in ways that weren't always obvious to the people around her. Even as a rising actress, Meghan was aware of the stakes. Hollywood isn't kind to those who hesitate or second-guess themselves. She understood that every interaction was an opportunity. A glance here, a laugh there, a compliment delivered at just the right moment. All could be leveraged to create goodwill, admiration, or even intimacy. And while some colleagues appreciated her energy and charisma, others sensed that there was a layer beneath it that wasn't entirely transparent. Korsh would later describe a tension on the Suits set, a sense that Meghan's influence wasn't always straightforward, that it sometimes extended into areas that made people uncomfortable, even as they admired her talent. What's fascinating about this period is how early behaviors can foreshadow patterns that later define someone's professional persona. In Meghan's case, ambition and charm were intertwined. She was both strategic and magnetic, aware of the optics of her interactions, and unafraid to test boundaries when the situation called for it. By the time she landed Suits, she was no longer a novice navigating Hollywood. She was a calculated force, skilled at using perception, presence, and subtle influence to her advantage. Some former acquaintances describe her as unforgettable in the room. Not just for her looks or her acting, but for the way she could make someone feel seen, noticed, and valued, while simultaneously positioning herself as indispensable, intriguing, and alluring. And while many people responded positively, there were also those who felt the undercurrent of strategy, a subtle manipulation that left them questioning whether what they were experiencing was genuine. It's a contradiction that would follow her onto the Suits set, where charm and ambition collided in ways that Aaron Korsh would later recount with astonishment. What's often overlooked in these early years is the role of ambition in shaping relationships. Ambition can be seductive. It can create admiration, envy, and sometimes resentment. For Meghan, Ambition didn't just drive her toward career milestones. It shaped how she interacted with people, how she navigated social hierarchies, and how she managed influence. She learned early that ambition alone wasn't enough. To succeed, she had to master the social dynamics of every environment she entered. And in Hollywood, those dynamics are complex, unpredictable, and sometimes ruthless.